America, a nation built on rebellion, fueled by ambition, and once the most powerful force in the world. But what if I told you the seeds of its downfall were planted centuries ago? From the heroic fight for independence to reckless economic gambles, today we uncover the rise and fall of the United States of America. This is the story of how the greatest experiment in democracy soared to unimaginable heights, only to come crashing down. In the early 1600s, English settlers braved the unknown, fleeing religious persecution in search of freedom. The Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth in 1620, and soon, 13 colonies flourished along the eastern seaboard. But with prosperity came oppression. British rule tightened its grip, and resentment grew. By the 1760s, groups like the Sons of Liberty, led by fiery revolutionaries like Samuel Adams, were ready to fight back. In 1773, they made their stance clear with the Boston Tea Party, defiantly dumping British tea into the harbor. But the British weren't backing down. In 1775, tensions exploded into war. The first shots rang out at Lexington and Concord. The shot heard round the world. Paul Revere's legendary midnight ride warned the Patriots, "The British are coming." The war had begun. Against all odds, George Washington led the ragtag Continental Army to victory. In 1776, the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, and in 1789, Washington became the first president of the United States. A new nation was born. America expanded rapidly, but with growth came division. The issue of slavery tore the nation apart, leading to the Civil War in 1861. Abraham Lincoln preserved the Union, but the wounds of war ran deep. By the late 1800s, America transformed into an industrial powerhouse. Steel, oil, and railroads created unimaginable wealth, but also deep inequality. The 20th century saw America fight 2 world wars, emerging as a global superpower. The country had reached its peak. But what goes up must come down. In the 1980s, Ronald Reagan promised economic prosperity. Instead, his policies exploded national debt, deregulated Wall Street, and fueled the wealth gap that still haunts America today. The late 1990s saw the dot-com bubble, a tech gold rush. But by 2000, the bubble burst, wiping out billions overnight. Then came the 2008 housing crisis. Banks gambled with subprime mortgages, the economy collapsed, and millions lost everything. The government bailed out the banks, leaving everyday Americans to suffer. By the 2010s, America was already weakened. And then came Donald Trump. His tariffs ignited trade wars, crippling businesses. His attempt to annex Canada, well, that only deepened the chaos. With political division at an all-time high and the economy spiraling, the once mighty United States now faces an uncertain future. America's story isn't over, but the question remains, can it rise again, or is its fall inevitable? But if history has taught us anything, it's that knowledge is power. If you want to explore history beyond the borders of the US and dive into the untold stories of civilizations, check out Borders and Beyond. Subscribe now and expand your world.